Nice. Hello and welcome back to Dukes on Twitch. Back today with GW Maverick. So this list is Achilles 27's list. A very cool list. I believe it won the Legacy Prelim, which is very cool. I just turned off my I just turned off my screen. Classic. Oh. We'll get there. We'll get there. Oh. Hopefully. That is classic. There we go. That should be fine. Hopefully. Hey, there we go. Okay, nice. We're back. Up we go. This should be over here. This should be over here. Music should be on. Hey, Island Elder Go. Thanks for the follow and thanks for the like on Twitter. Very big fan. So there we have Green White Black Maverick. Green White Maverick with Leyline. This is Achilles 27's list, who is a connoisseur of the deck, I want to say. He's got a lot of 5-0s. He 5-0'd this list in a Legacy Prelim last weekend, I'm going to say. It's a pretty straightforward list, which I really like. It's kind of a no bullshit kind of list that we got here. So he is running Once Upon a Time, which is very cool. I don't think we've played Once Upon a Time yet in Maverick on the stream. Once Upon a Time, really nice in this deck because it does revolve around a strategy of creatures and lands, so it kind of gets best of both worlds with Once Upon a Time's effect. It obviously is pretty nice in your opening. It also isn't too bad down the track. It's also pretty nice just as a way to keep a hand where you might have 1 or 2 lands and a Once Upon a Time. Or maybe like 1 land and a Noble Hierarch or birds, and Once Upon a Time. I really like it with Fairy Macabre, but we are just going to play the stock list here and go with Leyline. But I think there is a big advantage of playing Once Upon a Time and Fairy Macabre in the same list, because of course you can dig deep for it if you need to. Looking at hate bears in the list, or at least silver bullets that Achilles likes, we have Collector Ouphe and Gaddock Teeg. Mainly for combo, and also some of the big artifact decks, like the Khan Post decks are pretty big right now. Gaddock Teeg is a card that recently we've been talking about, really about dropping from the deck. The combo and control matchups in Legacy have definitely moved away from being reliant on 4-mana spells. So Teeg is definitely not as great as it was against combo decks. But it's just one of those silver bullets where you kind of feel naked without it in the list. At least I do. So that's really my reason for not dropping it yet. But I have to say it hasn't really performed that well recently. It is great against Terminus when Terminus is big. It's great against, the Khan decks when they're big. But otherwise, there's a lot of decks that just don't really care about it. And that's kind of the issue right now. So Gaddock Teeg in the main deck. But I think we'll see a few players trying to test lists without it in the main deck and without it in the actual 75 as well. So that should be pretty interesting. Scavenging Ooze is just really good graveyard hate in the main deck. It really amplifies what a good creature is when it comes to disruption and pressure. Big fan of Scooze, and I think Scooze is in the deck for a long time yet. Scryb Ranger is really cool because it does have pro blue. It is a flyer. It blocks Delver, which is really nice. We can also use its ability to save things from Wasteland, get multiple activations off our mana dorks, protection off Mother of Runes, use another Reliquary more than once in a turn, which is very cool. Even to use Knight and then to untap it to attack is really good. So it gives us the ability to actually Wasteland our opponent and then also attack with Knight, which is really cool. 4 Knights, pretty stock standard. 1 Knight of Autumn, a card that hasn't been in the deck for a while, mainly going for Qasali Pride Mage because it can actually work at instant speed, but Knight of Autumn still seems really nice here. It does have its advantages as well of just being a 2-for-1 in most cases, but happy to see it in the deck. And then Questing Beast. Questing Beast is just a card that on the stream has done wonders. It's been really fun to play with. It's really good in this deck, especially when we can actually keep it protected with Karakas. There's not too many Karakas decks around, so outside of the Mirror or D&T, it's pretty nice to have. Prelate in the main deck is an interesting one, and definitely something that I've tinkered with in the past. Prelate's really nice in this deck because we do have the option to get it out turn 2. And can be better than, you know, Gaddock Teeg against combo decks, especially in game 1 where they might not expect it. Prelate really good as well, because I find that green-white can have an issue with go-wide strategies, like Young Pyromancer or Elves. So at least with Prelate, they can't actually cast the spells like they can through a Chalice, and actually get, you know, tokens off something like Young Pyromancer. So Prelate's really nice. There's also a few Loam decks running around, so having Prelate on 2 seems pretty good. Maybe even 3 if Oko's the big concern, so that should be pretty interesting. And then really that's pretty much it. So I believe for the Once Upon a Times we've cut a Sylvan Library, a Green Sun Zenith, a Mother of Runes, and then a land, most likely the second Plains. So I do like that sort of, that build. So having the full 4 Once Upon a Time and then cutting back on a Green Suns because it kind of does the same thing. Same with Sylvan Library. And then of course with once in your hand, you're most likely finding your creatures or lands a little bit faster. To the board, Achilles has gone with another Prelate. Very nice. Deafening Silence, which I really like right now. I know some players probably like Aethersworn Canonist as well, because there has been a small resurgence back in Elves, which of course Deafening Silence does nothing against, but Aethersworn Canonist does. Deafening Silence as well isn't a threat, so it doesn't actually provide any sort of pressure, whereas Aethersworn Canonist does. But, you know, Maverick traditionally has never really had a 1-drop with Disruption, so having Deafening Silence is really nice. To be able to play this turn 1, then turn 2 we can play something like a Thalia, or, you know, Wasteland and play a Mana Dork, or do something. Leyline is probably still the best Premier Graveyard Hate. With Once Upon a Time, there probably is a small discussion about Ferromacabre, but perhaps right now, you know, Leyline is still just kind of the best. Hexdrink is really good against some of the non-source Plowshares decks. There's a few decks that can't even deal with it once it gets to 4, which is nice, so I kind of like Hexdrinker for the more grindy games. Sort of Light and Shadow is interesting in the board. Obviously Achilles finds it pretty good online because he has put it in a few decks now, so pretty keen to try out this. Shifting Ceratops is great against the blue decks, and also the Delver decks because it is a creature that can give reach. It also has pro blue, and it also, you know, survives Bolt, which is really nice. And then we have a mix of Planeswalkers. I really like Elspeth Knight-Errant because it allows you to go over Oko 3/3s. And it also just creates creatures and takes up to 5 as well, which is really nice. Gideon as well is really nice as a way to play around something like Plague Engineer if you need to. And then also against Miracles and Grixis Control, we have something that can just power out creatures as well, which is really nice, especially in a deck with so many pieces of equipment. And then this Vital Force is a pretty cool one. It's a card that straight away just gets you a card back if you want, so that for the 1-for-1 trade, it puts your opponent down a card, which is nice. The emblem is pretty sweet. It's also a -6, so it's only 1 tick up, and then you have the emblem straight away, which is cool. That's pretty much it. Let's get into League. Shock Drops 95, welcome to the stream. I don't stream Draft, but I think that something like Legacy Cube would be pretty cool to stream because even Vintage Cube, I've always gone for the green, white, black colors in Cube, so that would be pretty fun because it still has that kind of Maverick take to it. Alright, Constructed, we're playing a League with Achilles deck. Achilles! Nice. Hope you're all well. The virus, of course, is kind of taking over the world, so I hope everyone is healthy, is enjoying work if you're working, hopefully getting a little bit of work from home time as well, like I am. For the next 2 weeks, I'm actually currently working at home. So that's pretty cool. Get to wake up a little bit later. Hey, for sure, that would be very cool. Yeah, I think Vintage Cube is cool because it also can be pretty chat orientated as well. You can allow chat to kind of choose the cards from each booster, which might be a little bit rough with the delay, but I think there's some ability to have a little bit of interaction there, which is nice. A huge thank you to my sponsor as well, Card Hoarder, who will allow me to grab these cards ad hoc for this. So if you want to support me or Card Hoarder, you can actually find a link down below to Card Hoarder to check them out. You can buy cards off them for MTGO. You can get a loaner account, so you can actually loan out cards, which is cool. And also do MTG Mate, which is a Australian online card seller. You can check them out at mtgmate.com.au. They have a really good buy list. You actually get 25% back on credit as just a sort of bonus for getting credit instead of cash, which is cool. And then you can also get 5% off singles with code DOOGS, which is very cool. So anyone in Australia, I don't think New Zealand yet. I don't think anywhere overseas, unfortunately, but... Alright, we have our first match, which is very nice. We're on the play, which is cool. So I'll definitely be on the play. And I think this hand is fine. The one card that I'm kind of scared of is probably Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize taking Stoneforge Mystic makes this hand pretty lackluster. This is actually an interesting one because it does something. It has a bit of a... You know, we have a turn 1 Noble Hierarch, and then maybe we have turn 2 Stoneforge and Wasteland, which is kind of nice. I'm going to keep it. We get to cast anything we draw into as well. It is a little bit light on threats, but I think we're okay. I'm just going to get a forest here as well. I might even keep this Windswept Heath for something like Dryad Arbor. Forest Go is interesting. It's not a snow-covered forest either. Batterskull wasn't the greatest draw, but it does mean that Stoneforge can now probably just go and get something like Jitte. The interesting thing is maybe my opponent's on depths, so maybe I want to just play Wasteland here and keep it open because they could have crop rotation, but... I guess crop rotation end of turn for something like Cloudpost could be interesting. Maybe I'll play Wasteland and then just play Stoneforge Mystic. So playing Wasteland and having it open instead of attacking with Noble Hierarch here. Also good to note, next turn we can still play Cradle, and then even if we Wasteland, we can still have Jitte open and attacking because of Cradle. So that's pretty cool. Underground Sea, interesting. Do I want to Wasteland here? I think I want to untap and draw first. Collector Ouphe, okay. I'm kind of feeling this is interesting. Hey, UQ, I've only been online for about 15 minutes. Maybe just under. This is actually game 1, so... Hey, 16 minutes. Pretty close. Pretty close. So I'm not thinking Icefang Codal because the forest isn't an ice-covered or snow-covered forest. So this is interesting. I might actually just Wasteland them here. See if they actually do anything. Floating in black, interesting. Maybe Abrupt Decay. Maybe this is like a bug control deck. I could have played the Cradle beforehand because if they want to attack one of these guys or destroy one of these guys, I can't play this and then tap it for 2. But hopefully that doesn't come up. Assassin's Trophy, interesting. Let's go for Batterskull here. Now we get to search. We'll get that forest. Now we still get to actually play around this, which is pretty nice. I can actually play the Cradle here and hold up Batterskull in case they have another Assassin's Trophy. So I kind of like doing that, because then we have 3 mana available, which is nice. Hey, Captain Belly, thanks for the, thank you very much. I hope you are well. D&T looks like in a pretty cool spot. I saw that XJ Cloud was trying out the red splash again, which is pretty cool. Ah, classic. Did I say get that forest? My bad. I meant to say get that plains. Ooh, once upon a time. So what I have the option of here doing is once upon a timing to try to find Wasteland. And then if we don't find it, we can still play the Jitte and equip it to Batterskull, which is kind of nice. So I'm going to do that. Let's once upon a time. Interesting. My opponent's on an Assassin's Trophy deck, so I don't think that... Definitely don't want Karakas. Thalia is kind of nice because they are behind a little bit, and I'm going to assume with Underground Sea this is a Ponder Brainstorm deck, at least. Hey, Bloodied Fangs, welcome. So this is an interesting one. Thalia is pretty nice. We're not really doing anything this turn, though. I guess Scryb Ranger is kind of free. Because, yeah, Scryb Ranger is pretty much free, and we can get the Jitte down, because we can play a land, tap it and Noble Hierarch for Scryb Ranger, untap it, return the Savannah, float 1 mana, and then tap Cradle for 3, that's 4, which is Jitte and Equip, which is kind of cool. Yeah, it's pretty tough. Maybe it's okay just to go Thalia and then just play Jitte and Thalia. And just get multiple threats going, because if my opponent here has a Brazen Borrower, it's a little bit annoying, but I think that Thalia here is pretty good. It is the good kind of tough decision. I'm going to go for Thalia. I kind of like it. So we get to play a Savannah. Play Thalia. And then if it resolves, we have mana for Jitte. But if it doesn't, we still have mana for Jitte. Brainstorm, okay. They could have Dak? Interesting. Yeah, this could be something like a Styfro pile. So Thalia is really nice here because it means Dak's one more turn away. So I'm pretty happy, probably just going for Jitte here. Not playing around days, but they have just actually passed the turn pretty much, so... See how this plays out. I wonder if they have something like main deck Plague Engineer. That'd be pretty good here. Take care of both the Thalia and Thalia and Noble Hierarch, and then have Death Touch for the Batterskull. Trophy again. Okay. Well, that's not too bad, because now we get to get in with the Jitte. And a Knight's a perfect draw. Because it's obviously going to be bigger than a Bolt, which is really nice. Let's go for Equipped Thalia. Attack with Thalia. Gonna play this probably for Dryad Arbor. Play Knight. They can't counter it, of course, because they tapped out and Thalia's on the field, which is nice, so... A pretty good draw. For what we kept, we've definitely drawn pretty well. Definitely drawn the cards we've wanted just to keep applying pressure. Styfro plays Basic Forest? Interesting. It definitely seems like a kind of greedy pile, but very cool to see. Drown in the Lock. Can't really do anything there. I guess if we got Screws off the Once Upon a Time, we could actually eat cards in response to make this fizzle on resolution. But this is just going to happen. Because it is CMC. I think here I just like getting out the Dryad Arbor and just going for beatdown here. Gonna attack with both and then pump. Graham, good call. It's probably not worth attacking with the Dryad Arbor, because it wasn't like they had removal, so maybe just attacking with the Thalia and getting the Exalted was actually just correct. So yeah, that's very true. Oh, they have Dak. Interesting. I guess they go to steal the Jitte here. So we'll go to gain life. I'm going to snip this because I'm actually writing a piece on Jitte right now. So this is actually a pretty good situation for when you gain life. I guess now the Collector Ouphe is actually a lot better. Because they can't really do too much with it. Interesting. Gain control of target artifact. What happened there? Why didn't... Ah, they still have control of it. Okay. Ah, interesting. Is this a May ability? Huh. So I wonder if I attack with Thalia and it gets counters because I've dealt damage, do they then get to choose what they do with the counters? Or do they not because it's equipped to me? He can use them. Okay. Well then. I guess we can play Ouphe here. But then if they remove the Ouphe, they can then use the counters on Jitte. So maybe it's a case here of actually just playing the second Thalia to take off the equip. Stoneforge is a little bit dead because we don't have a backup creature. So I think we just kill Dak. And then I'm going to cast second Thalia. Keep this one. Play Collector Ouphe. They can force it if they wish, because they have the forest open. And they are going to. Interesting. I didn't use the Stoneforge's ability because we don't have anything left in the deck to actually grab. Ponder's fine. Deluge would be pretty nice. They have Pondered, so they need land and Deluge main deck. Would be interesting. I mean, if they played Snow-Covered Basics, they could play Dead of Winter, which is seeing a little bit of play right now. Uro. Okay, well, Uro is pretty good. So now it's like, I think I need Questing Beast at the top. Usually when we say Questing Beast, it just comes, so... Once is pretty close. We have to pay 3 for this. They don't have a second forest here. I think Horizon Canopy is probably the best card here. Uro does put them up another 3, so I'd rather just try to draw into another threat here. And we can still attack for 3 this turn. 4 if we attack with everything. So I'm going to go for the Horizon Canopy. As good as protection might be, I don't think it's going to come up. I'd rather just draw into a threat. So let's float with Cradle. Play this. Sack this. Knight's still pretty good. Knight's really good because it also can get us Karakas, which means we can just return Uro if that's needed. Okay, there's the other green source. Interesting. Ah, but here's the thing. If we go and get Karakas, we can't attack with the Knight for lethal. Okay. Uru doing some work. I can't sadly cut them off 2 green here unless I take them off the trop. I guess I can attack with Exalted. But now the Jitte is pretty good. Scryb Ranger. 1 time. Okay. We'll go for this. Mom. Screws is also interesting. Because then we get to eat Uro when it comes back down. I don't mind Scoos. Yeah, I think Scoos is pretty good. So, I think we just go for a Karakas here, remove Uro, and then attack in for 3. And go back down to 3. Also need to take care of my time as well. I'm currently a little bit behind, so... I guess if they have another green source, they can cast Uro and then get it back straight away. But they will need to escape in response. So I think I have to eat some cards in response to Uro coming into play. So let's add some mana. I'm going to quickly eat... just to put it above bolt range for now. It's 5, correct? Okay. I think I can let it resolve now. We're also pretty close with just attacking with everything as well. And then actually dying before the Jitte gets counters to gain life. I think here I'm still going to eat Drown. Just so they can't like fetch and then do something and then get the Uro back straight away. Okay, nice. It's kind of hidden mode on Uro that you don't get priority if they have enough cards in the graveyard between front cast and escape. Yeah, that's very true. This is an interesting one. I think I kind of like shifting Ceratops here. And I kind of just like all the Planeswalkers and trying to play like a Planeswalker tribal kind of deck post board. I think Teeg can definitely come out. I like Elspeth, I like Gideon, and I like Nissa. I'm probably going to cut down on Thalia's. Hexdrink is interesting. I don't think we want Chalice. It's interesting, if they're relying on Dak Vaden to deal with artifacts by taking control of them, then Chalice isn't really a great way to be, you know, Dak isn't a great way to answer Chalice because it doesn't really do anything. I probably still want some amount of Swords to Plowshares, but I could probably drop down on 1. I still think this is worth it. I don't think there's anything better here. Yeah, and I don't think we want to set it on 2 either because a lot of our 2-drops are pretty strong as well. Collector Ouphe is interesting. I think Collector Ouphe can actually come out. And maybe just Hexdrinker is better. Because outside of instant speed removal, they probably don't have a great way to deal with Hexdrinker. Might just be good to have in the deck as a 1-drop. I think this is pretty sweet. I think if there is a third game, we can come back and look at the board, but for now, having these bigger, sweet answers is pretty nice. And this hand is pretty nice as well. It allows us to really get our mana going early on. It's also nice just to have 1 swords in hand. Gonna go for birds because Noble's a little bit better in this matchup, so if they bolt the bird here, I'm not too unhappy. The Exalted can add up, which is nice. Sanctum on 2 does seem pretty nice. Wasteland, interesting. I'm gonna cast this first. Untap, return. Play this. Play Noble, and then swing for 1 with the bird. This plays around Plague Engineer pretty well, but it doesn't play around something like Toxic Deluge really at all. Plague, okay. I guess I maybe should have untapped the bird here to actually float Swords to Plowshares, but I think I'm okay like untapping and just swordsing. Windswept Heath. I really like what Julian did. I think that splashing lightly on blue is really nice, and I think Oko is the most powerful card to splash to. Playing Jitte here is interesting, but I don't think I want to. I guess it's really only Dak that hurts me. But I kind of also want to build up my board state, so... Especially with the walkers in the deck, I want to get to having a few more mana sources on board, just in case my birds or Sylvan or Scryb Ranger gets taken out. This definitely feels like a matchup where Wasteland is pretty good because they're probably going to have a hard time just relying on their basic lands to cast all less spells and create a board state that is going to sort of overwhelm me. Oko, okay. Well, now I don't mind playing Jitte. Another Savannah isn't the greatest. So we can go 1-2, cast Jitte. float. Untap this, return this. Equip this. Attack Oko so they can't trade. I guess they can still trade. That's fair. I wonder if they trade the Oko for the Jitte. That's something I didn't really consider. Probably getting a red source here. But yeah, I think that BANT has a lot of legs. There's obviously different ways that you can use it. I went pretty heavy. I went 2 Oko, 2 Teferi, 1 Uro, and then yeah, that's pretty good. Two Lavinia in the board, which is pretty sweet. This is where Oko just creates this kind of sub-game that's pretty hard to navigate. Even playing the Ooze out here might be incorrect, but I really need a threat or else I'm not doing too much else. Unfortunately. Especially as a 2-2, it's just a little bit open to really any sort of hate that my opponent has. Or even a trade. Jace. Jace bounce Ooze is pretty much dead, but I mean, even if they trade the Skoos for the food, we're doing pretty poorly. Oh, just elking it. Interesting. Okay. Wasteland. Wasteland not doing a whole lot. Pretty happy to try to get the Jace down a little bit, and then also if they trade here, that's not too bad. Drawing an Exalted creature would have been pretty nice, but we don't have that luxury right now. I kind of feel like we have to fight back with Walkers. That's probably our only way back into this game. But it's going to be pretty tough. I mean, my opponent has an Oko on 6, a Jace, 4 cards in hand, and they haven't missed a beat with their mana, so... Uro as well, I'm just going to concede there. I don't think there's a great way to get back. Looking back, I don't think I want to change anything. I could bring in the second Prelate if I really want. I don't mind second Prelate because we can name 3 and it doesn't stop anything other than Green Suns for 2. So I might even just take out... I think we can bring in Athalia on the play. Knight of Autumn isn't really needed. I think I'm happy to trade the Knight for the second Prelate. We haven't seen any Groves or Punishing Fires, so maybe they're not on that build. Hexdrink is always also interesting because it can be bounced by Jace and it can be Oko'd. It doesn't even get the counter, so maybe Hexdrinker isn't where I want to be. It is a 4/4, which is kind of relevant because that means it does get through the 3/3s from Oko. Light and Shadow isn't really the matchup that we want this for. Maybe it's just a Stoneforge Mystic. This isn't a matchup where I'm really looking for Batterskull or Jitte early on. So perhaps cutting down on Mystic is fine. And to be fair, if we draw one of these ones, then the second Mystic is pretty much dead anyway. So I think I'm pretty happy with that. Playing the second or the third Thalia on the play instead of the second Stoneforge. This hand is fine. We get to Green Suns early on for Dryad Arbor. And then we can play a turn 2 Sylvan Library and hopefully Wasteland as well. So I'm going to keep this. I like that these two lands are spells as well. So let's just go for Savannah here and Green Suns for Dryad Arbor. Our opponent does have 6 minutes on us as well, so we're going to be pretty fast. Ponder. Okay, this is a pretty great start from us because we get to play Sylvan Library and then also Wasteland. I don't believe my opponent plays a Daze deck, so the reason I don't want to Wasteland first is that if my opponent has Assassin's Trophy, they might let Library resolve because they know they have an answer for it straight away. But if we play Sylvan Library, they let it resolve and then we play Wasteland, they might not, it might just like appeal to them to not force this Sylvan Library. So I'm going to play Sylvan first. Hopefully they don't Daze it because that's a massive slap in the face. Okay, nice. So now we get to play Wasteland and hit them as well. Which is pretty huge because it means they kind of have to go for dual lands if they most likely want Assassin's Trophy online by turn 2. And we have the second Wasteland, which is really nice. So I think he would just pay 8 because our opponent doesn't have too much in the way of removal. Yeah. So I have the option of Thalia here or Prelate for 2. And I kind of like going for Horizon Canopy, hide this Wasteland, and just Thalia. Because then we can try to keep our opponent off cantrips as well by naming this on 1. But we have to look at what our opponent does this turn and see how they kind of play this out. Wow, just a pass. Okay, so now I just want to try to get something on board that's going to take over this game. Once. Put on top. Put on top. I like land. Now I really like Prelate for 1. Because my opponent's obviously kept a hand with maybe a lot of cantrips, so they want to try to draw into lands. So this means next turn we can also just go for Elspeth, which is really nice. So, although my opponent has unfortunately missed the second land drop, which is pretty huge, it's going to be tough for them to get out of this. Hopefully. Hopefully. Okay, well there we go. So, unfortunately our opponent had a pretty rough draw step. But we were able to capitalize with a bit of pressure, so... I mean, Wasteland there was really nice, backing it up with Thalia, and then seeing if they missed a land drop or not, and then using that knowledge to name Prelate on 1 seemed pretty good. Could definitely name 2 as well. 2 is probably a little bit safer, but I like the aggression of naming 1 because it turns off Brainstorm, it turns off Ponder. They're missing land drops, so I rather take them off that. Yeah, I think we definitely need a little bit of luck like that because... They definitely seem like a deck with a lot of hate for a creature-based deck. Drowned Lock's really good, Oko's really good, Jace Bounce of course. Uro's really good at countering the clock that we might have, and then also just gaining some card advantage back. Yeah, so pretty rough. I think we also have a little bit of an upside in that our taxing effects can be pretty hard on their mana. So if they need to go for dual lands early on, then we do have the Wasteland package to kind of take them off that, which is really nice. But always nice to get the win straight up. I hope you guys are enjoying the stream. Kind of weird thing to say. It's like one match in. Oh, that's a big comment. I got a question. I'm a huge fan of creature-based tax mid-range combo decks. I like your stream as I thought that Maverick is not a huge player in Legacy game anymore. What do you think about that? I see you having some good Legacy results. What about bigger tournaments? Is there a chance to see you with Maverick on the Distance of Legacy Challenge or some other big tournaments online? Hey, you should check out... did we win this? You should check out the Maverick Monthly. That's a monthly like newsletter I do on the greensunzenith.com, which covers some of the top placing decks over the past month. Green-white, Achilles definitely has some pretty good results with this deck. I'm definitely keeping this. But the sad reason I don't play challenges is they're usually at 2 AM on Monday mornings for me, which is pretty rough. But oh, Ancient Tomb, okay. Spyglass. I think we want a once here. I guess it doesn't really matter. We might as well draw a card and then once. But yeah, there's some really good players. So Achilles 27 is of course a really good green-white player. There's Dan Neely, who plays a lot of BANT or green-white black decks. There's, Julian, of course, is a massive fan of green-white Maverick and also playing BANT. But I think Maverick's definitely got an uptick over the last couple of years. I'm going to fetch first because I'm definitely getting a Savannah. Yeah, I think Maverick's seen a bit of an uptick, which is nice. Cradle's interesting. I kind of like Mum as well. I'm going to go for Cradle. The issue is next turn I'm probably playing Teeg if this is a Khan deck. I think it's Cradle. No time like the present with isolation. But yeah, I think if you're into creature decks and taxing decks, then Maverick is a great deck. I think that Death and Taxes is also a great deck, but I feel like Maverick has a few more options. Lodestone, interesting. We do have the Swords to Plowshares for this, which is nice. Batterskull. So I guess here I'm pretty happy to go Swords and then Gaddock Teeg. I guess I can't because of Lodestone, of course. So let's just go land, Swords this, attack for 1. I could also go for Dryad Arbor for 0, or Green Suns for 0, and then go for Batterskull next turn, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or Cradle is 5. I don't mind that. I also kind of like Green Suns to get a threat. Something like Knight of Autumn, because it deals with the Sorcerer's Spyglass. Or the Knight of Autumn. I think getting mana out is fine. It makes the Cradle a little bit better as well. Especially if my opponent is on the Lodestone version. It could be a little bit different. And if this is just a pass, it's a huge win for us. It definitely makes me want to play Gaddock Teeg out to save something for us from something like Ugin or All Is Dust or even Khan, but I think I'm happy just going for 2, 3, 4, 5, play Batterskull, and then attack for 2 with Dryad Arbor. Because these Ancient Tombs are going to stack up as well, so that's kind of working for us as well, which is kind of nice. Yeah, I think that Legacy is definitely a format where there's a huge amount of the player base that play Brainstorm and obviously blue decks. So you kind of want to be in the position where you can either play a Brainstorm, don't be all as dust. Simian Spirit Guard as well. Is this Ugin? Walking Ballista for 4. Interesting. Scryb Ranger. I'm going to play Teeg out, but I'm going to keep up Karakas. So what I could do here is just return Teeg in response, because they can no longer, they only have 3 mana, so Teeg isn't doing much. And if I don't respond here, they can put Walking Ballista to 3 and then just ping Gaddock Teeg anyway. I guess it doesn't really matter, because if they put it to 3, they ping this once and go to 2, they ping it again and go to 1, and then I just return it, and then if they want to respond, they can. But if they have another land, they might have another land, which means they can actually pump this up to 4. Interesting. And if they have another land and I return this, they could just play Khan. So I think I'm happy just actually letting this resolve. And if they want to try to kill the Gaddock Teeg, they can. But they need like land Khan to be the 2 cards. Maybe I'm just giving too much respect to that. Letting me untap, interesting. Green Suns. Oh, sadly I can't with the Gaddock Teeg. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5. Interesting. So I could return Gaddock Teeg here, and then Green Suns for Questing Beast. Scryb Ranger is also kind of free. This is an interesting one. Questing Beast is pretty cool. I could also just return and then Green Suns for... I think I return to Gaddock Teeg, play a land. So, okay. Tap Cradle for 2. Return Gaddock Teeg. 3 mana, 4 mana. Green Suns for Night of Autumn. Hit the Walking Ballista. They can't kill the Batterskull, and then we get in for 4, which puts them to 3 and turns off their second Ancient Tomb. So I think I like that. Let's return this. If they try to kill it, that's fine. Land. Oh, I didn't tap the Cradle. That's fine. It's all good. It's all good. Should have tapped the Cradle. Should have tapped the Cradle. That's just a little misplay. Night of Autumn. Destroy this. They probably kill this. Yeah, float first. Apologies. It didn't matter in the end, but to be fair, I should have just kept up a Wasteland. Like, that's just correct. I even said it. I even walked through it, and it didn't do it. We sadly aren't playing Qasali Primate. We're playing Night of Autumn in this list. So this is an interesting one. We can definitely take out the 3 mums. That's a definite goer. I don't mind the walkers. I'm just not sure which one is best. Nis is pretty cool because we can get back some things. Gideon makes Walking Ballista a little bit worse, so I kind of like Gideon. Thalia can most likely also be dropped, but in this version, maybe Thalia isn't the worst. I might take out 2 on the draw. Prelate's pretty nice because we can most likely name a few things. Probably All Is Dust is the big card, but Gaddock Teeg kind of answers that as well. Elspeth is pretty nice. Maybe I just want big threats like this. Hexdrink is interesting, but with Walking Blister it's not the best. Maybe just Prelate here. Maybe this is fine. It's a little bit top heavy. If we go back to the mana cost, but we'll see how she runs. We'll see how she runs. We'll come back, and then hopefully if there's a game 3, hopefully there's not a game 3, but if there is, we can have a look. This hand is okay. It's got a little bit of everything, and it has a turn 2 Knight if we need it, so I'm happy to keep this. Glimmer Post, okay. Definitely the... Oh, and Simian Spirit Guide. Sphere, okay. Interesting. I think because we didn't draw into another land, I just want to go land here and then turn 2 Noble Hierarch. At least this only taps for 1. All spells cost 1 more. Okay, let's go for Savannah Pass. Interesting that they brought this in. Maybe on the play, it just to slow us down a little bit, but... You know, the double Glimmer Post start for them isn't the best. Map, okay. So I have the option here of just oncing, but it does cost 1 and then doing nothing else. I guess we can Wasteland. Maybe that's okay. I'd probably rather hit a Cloud Post though. I think getting ahead on mana is more. Yeah, sadly the once isn't still free, but... I think Noble Hierarch is correct. I think building up my mana is a lot better, because it also means if we draw into a land, we can do something like Thalia and then also once, or Wasteland and once, and do something else, if we draw into a land. Interesting. Ballista. Trade's pretty good. Now we need a land. Ugh, rough. Okay. Now we're kind of locked out. And I don't like Wastelanding because it puts us behind so much, even though it's great against our opponent. So they're obviously playing the Golos version. Wasteland, rough. Alright, let's go to game 3. Sadly not really coming out of that one. And maybe that was just a case of not going for, do I want Thalia? I think I might want Thalia on the play. It just puts them a little bit behind if they do have a few more non-creature spells. So I don't mind taking out a Prelate. Just to keep the aggression going. Getting Wastelanded out is pretty rough. That is a Cascading Karakas. I wish I could say it, I apologize. It's mainly for Golos, so you can actually activate Golos. I assume my opponent will take out those spheres. Probably not the greatest on the draw. Happy to keep this. Collector Ouphe is actually pretty nice in this deck, so we're going to keep this. And I'm just going to play a land and pass. Probably the Windswept Heath. Then we can still Once Upon a Time. Oh, should not 5. Should not 6. Just in case my opponent plays Wasteland there. Candle, okay. Well, luckily we do have this Collector Ouphe, which is really nice. So I'm gonna get the basic out of the deck first. Just to play around Wasteland a little bit. Plains. Hopefully find a Wasteland off once. Gaddock Teeg is pretty nice. I think Teeg is fine because we have mana. Hopefully our opponent doesn't have Dismember. That's probably their one way of dealing with Collector Ouphe. They can't do it with Ratchet Bomb, they can't do it with Walking Ballista. So I'm not too sure of their way to deal with this. OP is clutching their fist. Chalice for 1. Okay, a little bit late, especially with us on the draw. Let's just go for Knight here. They also missed a land drop, I believe. Wasteland's fine. What's this? Lodestone, okay. That's going to be fine as well. Knight. Knight's pretty good, but doesn't do a whole lot here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess we have 5 mana because we can play Knight. I guess it costs 4, but we can still play Teeg. If we get Gaia's Cradle, I think that's fine. I think kill the Golem, yeah. So let's go... sack this. Go and get Cradle. 4 mana. Actually, no, let's play Teeg first. No, we can't. We can't play Teeg and Stoneforge. That's fine. I really like Knight the Golem because it allows us to be a little bit more aggressive with our attacks as well. Or else we're not doing a whole lot. As good as Collector Ouphe is, and as good as Knight is, unless we don't have a clock, then Disruption really means nothing because our opponent is naturally going to draw out of it. So we might as well at least try to get something on the board. So nice to get the win. It was really nice as well having that turn 2 Collector Ouphe because the Candelabra is pretty rough to deal with. They get a lot of mana out of it, especially if they have things like Cloudpost. Alright. 2-2. 2-1-2-1. Oh. Gotta stay hydrated as well. Drinking a lot of water. Hope you guys are drinking a lot of water. Gotta keep that water up to keep the any sort of sickness at bay. Hey, Luca Boring. Thanks for the Twitch Prime sub. That's very cool. A huge thank you. I hope you enjoy your badge. Hey, welcome. Haha. Very cool badge. Let me know where you're from. If you play Legacy, what do you play in Legacy? A huge thank you. That means a hell of a lot. That'll go into the hosting fees for the Green Sun, so thank you. Two pretty cool matchups. I like how one's been like a 4 to 5 color control deck and the other one is just colorless. Italy never played Legacy and I really enjoy content creators that show it. Hey, very cool. Well, I hope, I know Italy's going through a pretty rough time, so I hope you and your family are well, and stay well, because, yeah, I think Italy's Italy's obviously in the thick of it right now. But a huge thank you for your support. What sort of Magic do you play? Maybe Modern, maybe Pioneer. Maybe you're a draft head. Maybe you like Standard. Some people like Standard. Hey, Island Delver Go. What are you playing right now in Legacy? Have I played Shrek at all? Shrek. Remind me who Shrek is. I feel like Shrek is a card. Play Modern and Commander? Very cool. Okay. What do you play in Modern? And who's your commander? On the die roll. Okay. This ends sweet. We're going to keep this. One subtle thing about Once as well is that you can play it into a Chancellor, which is kind of cool. I think we're not going to play around Blood Moon. And we're just going to go get a Savannah. Oh. There we go. Shrek is Green White Depths. Oh, hell yeah. I have definitely played Green White Depths. I'm a massive fan. I think I might even go back to it over the coming weeks. Because it is just so much fun to play around with. Thalia is pretty perfect here because we already have a threat in Questing Beast, so I'm going to get Thalia. Thalia also means we have the turn 2 play of Swords Your Creature, play Thalia. Ah, very cool. Yeah, I do like Green-White Depths. I think it is obviously the slower version of Depths, maybe even slower than the Blue-Black version. Sorry, Green-Black. But it is very cool. A Ponder deck. Okay, so Thalia here seems pretty good. And then we can attack with the Knight. You smell the Force of Will? Yeah. I guess we should have seen as well what our opponent did with... Do we show chat? No, we are... Game log. Chose not to shuffle their library. Okay, interesting. That's an interesting one. I couldn't tell you, unfortunately. So we could jam Questing Beast here, but we don't play around anything like Days. But I think no guts, no glory. I think we're just gonna try to cast this. I'm gonna brainstorm in response. Okay. Hopefully no Terminus. Interesting. Upkeep fetch means they probably don't have an answer. This is a great clock as well, especially next turn with Jitte. They chose not to shuffle though. Is this show and tell? Ugh. Alright, I guess we'll put in Jitte. Rough. Drawn from Dreams is pretty good. This might even just be mono blue. So, Deafening Silence seems great. That is game, because they can get Emrakul and Grizzlebrand. I guess we'll give them the go. Ah, the exile drawn from Dreams? Interesting. Maybe I should have actually... What do we... Let's concede and then draw a card. Because maybe I shouldn't have played the Questing Beast. Maybe I should have tried to draw into another card like Thalia. Because if we draw a card... Verdant. Okay, not too bad. Alright. But yeah, maybe that was actually the incorrect play to play Questing Beast there. It's interesting because if we don't draw into like another hate card, then we do miss out on casting Questing Beast that turn. Beast does have Death Touch, which is cool. Alright. I think we take out Swords because we don't really care. Icefang Kotal is a card, but they were only playing islands, so I don't think Icefang Kotals are really necessary. It looks like mono blue. So let's bring in Deafening Silence. Let's bring in Chalice. Let's bring in Prelate. Ceratops is interesting because it can't be countered. I don't mind that as a hate piece. Probably even drop down on a Mum. Maybe even a Wasteland. Although Wasteland on Ancient Tomb can be really nice. Yeah, that's the tough thing. So for those players that do enjoy Maverick, it can be pretty tough because you kind of have to play with the hand you have. You don't have the luxury of having something like Ponder to ponder away cards. Hey, Machio, thanks for the follow. Let me know where you're from. If you play Legacy, what do you play in Legacy? I think this is fine. We could probably... Probably go down on one card. Maybe it's the Ooze. Maybe this is fine. Yeah, let's see how this goes. And if there is a game 3, then hopefully we get to see a bit more of the deck and see what they're playing. Maybe even what some of the hate pieces are. This hand could very much be a trap, but I think because the double up it's quite nice. Mums do allow us to play around things like Echoing Truth, if that's played in mono blue. I don't think this is the blue-green version, but... Ah, very cool. Very nice. A huge thank you for that. I did update that on the Green Suns as well, so a huge thank you for that. You're from Italy and you play Reanimated Depths. I'm gonna need to see a list for Reanimated Depths because that sounds very cool. I'm gonna keep this. We're on the play. I think we can hopefully put in enough pressure early on. I'm gonna keep this Verdant for Dryad Arbor as well. One thing I could see Green-White doing is playing a Cavern of Souls because you do play a fair amount of humans. Preordain, okay. What do they do with Preordain? Hopefully bottom. They do bottom. Interesting. Once. I still think Thali here is just the better play. Interesting, okay. Well, we'll definitely attack. Maybe they're just looking for like Ancient Tomb or like a creature to put in off show and tell. Okay, Brainstorm's great. Okay. Please shuffle with the Ponder. They chose to shuffle. Okay, interesting. Shifting Ceratops. Let's go for land. We do have one more Savannah in the deck, so even if this Thalia doesn't resolve, we can still... Another Force. Alright. Opponent has 3 cards. Surely it's not like land, show and tell, and then we go off. Ah, rough. Grizzle, okay. We do have some outs. We also have reach. Okay, that's not the worst. We can also, Once Upon a Time for Karakas. Alright, let's see what happens here. Stoneforge. I think we kind of have to once here. Come on, Karakas, one time. One time. I guess they could also draw here in response. Spell Pierce would be pretty good as well. I lost a game to that deck playing Dragon Stompy. What do we draw? Maybe Knight's fine. Prelate's actually pretty nice because if we name 3, they can't really do anything because it also shuts off Cunning Wish. So I think Prelate's best here, and then just to pass. Because we can give reach with Ceratops and then give protection. We can also put Sanctum Prelate in off a show and tell and name 3, but of course it doesn't stop Grizzlebrand. Sorry, Emrakul, which is pretty rough. Getting pretty close though to just shifting Ceratops with protection getting through, so they must have something here. Maybe just a Drawn from Dreams? That doesn't do it. Interesting. Let's give this reach. Maybe they didn't read the card. I think they didn't read the card and don't know that this has reach. Because what we do, we get to block, give protection, untap. They didn't read it. Classic. That's snippable. That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. Let's neg out that name. Classic. Sideboard. Haha. Very cool. They don't gain the life because we can give protection to shifting Ceratops before damage. And protection means that damage isn't actually... it doesn't happen. So luckily, they don't gain life. And then we get to swing back for lethal with shifting Ceratops, which is really cool. Do we want to change anything? I don't think we do. There's consideration for Collector Ouphe if you see Lotus Petal, but we haven't seen Lotus Petal yet. Hey, TLB28. Thanks for the follow. Your name sounds familiar. Let me know where you're from. If you play Legacy, what do you play in Legacy? Hey, Kulki, thanks for the follow. Let me know where you're from. If you play Legacy, what do you play in Legacy? I do have a follower goal of 1,000 by the end of March, and we do have... we're currently at 971, so we're getting pretty close. Let's just run this back. Let's just run this back. All good. Protection is pretty dumb, but it keeps the FedEx in check, which is nice. Interesting. This hand on the play, we're on the draw. The tough thing is that Thalia here is really our only piece of interaction. Gaddock Teeg really only hits Force of Will and Drawn from Dreams. I believe they can win through Gaddock Teeg because they might also play Eldamri's Call. So they can Cunning Wish for Eldamri's Call and then Ponder or Brainstorm into the creature. Well, thank you very much. A huge thank you. So this is an interesting one. I don't mind the mana because our opponent most likely isn't going to Echoing Truth our Noble Hierarchs. The issue is that we don't really have anything... it's just a little bit too fair without the Thalia, and I'm going to assume that the Thalia is getting taken. I'm going to mulligan once. I think we have that luxury because we are on the draw. Shared Summonings. Yeah, I think Shared Summonings is a 4-mana spell, or 5. So it doesn't play around Gaddock Teeg, luckily for us. I think we can mulligan once. Opponents kept 7. So let's do worst case. They turn to show and tell us. We can put in Thalia, but if they have a creature, it doesn't really do anything. I guess we can find Karakas maybe with Once Upon a Time. I think this hand's just a little bit too fair, unfortunately. It's tough because it is a nice hand. We get to cast all our spells. Scryb Ranger makes the mana really nice. However, this is rough because if they have a hand of just a few cantrips and they have to put their pieces together, then this hand is actually pretty good because Thalia is also attacking for 4 a turn with Exalted, or Gaddock Teeg is. The Once Upon a Time also lets us actually dig deeper into the deck as well to find something like Karakas if we need it, or another Thalia. So I'm gonna keep this. I think because we do have a piece of hate, maybe 2. We have our mana sorted, and we have a clock. It's going to be fine, so we'll keep this and see how it goes. Hey, MTG Calas, thanks for the follow. Let me know where you're from. If you play Legacy, what you play in Legacy. They do play Lotus Petal, interesting. They also played it out there to play around something like Thalia, or even Deafening Silence. Let's draw first. Once Upon a Time, okay. Let's get a Savannah out of the deck. Now play once. I think it's going to be Knight. At least Knight can fetch us something pretty good. But double fetch here is most likely a bad sign. Yeah. Unless it's a Ponder. Ugh. Okay. So this is interesting. Our opponent has 4 cards in hand. So they haven't pondered or brainstormed. So unless they have Omniscience and Cunning Wish, then if they have Omniscience, then Thalia or Gaddock Teeg is pretty good. If they have a creature, then Knight of the Reliquary is really good. They might even just have kept this because we probably took out Swords to Plowshares. We probably only have Karakas as an answer. So that means that Knight is probably the best card here, because the likelihood of them having one of their 8 creatures, I believe it's 8, it could be 6 if they only run 2 Emeralds, is pretty good. It's definitely higher than them having one of their 3 or 4 Omniscience and Cunning Wish. I think Knight is the play here. I think they have a creature. I don't believe they have the 2 cards they need in Omniscience and Cunning Wish to win that way. But it's tough. I have discussed, and I think it's Knight. So let's go for Knight. It's Omniscience, okay. Intuition. Rough. The issue was that if I put in Thalia and got to untap, then I had to play a land to be able to cast the Once Upon a Time to dig for something like Karakas. Yeah, it's tough. Yes, you can have Emrakul. Alright. Unfortunate. But cool games. Cool games. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. It's even tougher when you know you've chosen the wrong choice. Hindsight is pretty nice. All right. Hopefully we can get back on that winning stream. Playing against a Varial. Interesting. So we have a no-lander. But the odds of drawing into a land are pretty high. The only issue is that our hand is filled with the silver bullets that you kind of just want to find with Green Sun Zenith if you need them. You don't really want them all in your opening hand. There are many games where Collector Ouphe or Gaddock Teeg could just be irrelevant. So I think this really is pretty much a 5. And I don't really want to rely on the Once Upon a Time to find me a land, so I'm going to mulligan this. I think there's a lot better hands. And I think this is probably it. I think this is a great keep. And I think we're going to bottom probably the Prelate. Thalia is really good against the unfair decks. Stoneforge Mystic for Jitte is really good against the fair decks. So I kind of like having 2 Green Suns, one for Dryad Arbor on turn 1, and then one later on for maybe a silver bullet that we need. So I think Sanctum Prelate's the card here that isn't what we need right now, so I'm going to drop the Prelate. Tundra. Ponder, okay. So seeing Tundra, I kind of want to have the Prelate back. To be fair. Windswept Heath, okay. Because we're going for Dryad Arbor, I don't mind playing a little bit around anything like Back to Basics, just by getting the basic forest and going for Green Suns here for Dryad Arbor. One thing this play doesn't allow is that next turn if we draw Karakas, we can't play Thalia and then also hold up Karakas. It also means if we draw into Mother of Runes, we can't play both Thalia and Mum, so there's definitely downsides to getting the forest there. And maybe I'll live to regret it, but we'll see how this turn plays out. Double Tundra most likely means this isn't a back to basics deck, which is nice, but it most likely means they're either holding up Predict or Counterbalance. And there's the Mum, so we kind of get hit there. Yeah, Prelate could have been so bad. That's very true. Let's go for... I'm just going to go for Mum here. I think Mum's the card that I care about the least. So if it gets counterspelled, I'm not too unhappy. Force. Interesting. Well, I'm just going to attack here. Force pitching Snap. Okay. This looks like an Oko. Uro. Interesting. Okay, well now we actually get to Green Suns for Scavenging Ooze and eat this Uro, which is kind of nice. If they don't have... Sanctuary. Interesting. Putting Ponder back on top. Okay, that's fine. Alright, let's go Skoos. Scavenging Ooze. Nice. Eat Uro. Just get it out of the way. Usually most decks only play 1 Uro as well, which is kind of nice. The nice thing about Scavenging Ooze as well against this sort of deck is that against an Oko, the Scavenging Ooze actually keeps its counters on it, so it's usually bigger than a 3/3, which is kind of cool. The exiled card was Snapcaster Mage. Palace Jailer. Interesting. So here I kind of like seeing if we can draw into either Swords to Plowshares or a Exalted Creature. Wasteland. Wasteland's not too bad. I'm going to go for Thalia first. Now I like Mum. And Wasteland. Probably hitting their trop. I kind of want to take them off double green. Double white's interesting because it could be something like Council's Judgment. I think trop. Just so they can't even cast like 2 green spells in a turn. True name, okay. That's pretty rough. At least we can trade the Thalia with the Palace Jailer. Hierarch. Yeah, let's go pro here. Give pro blue. At least if they block, Palace Jailer is no longer a resource they can use. Something like bounce with Teferi or bounce with Jace. I'm just going to get Batterskull here. I kind of want to make another big threat. But Mud being tapped here is a little bit of a worry. Brainstorm's great because it means 2 mana shuts off things like Teferi, Oko, Snapcaster Mage into something. There isn't a Swords to Plowshares in the graveyard, but you know, even snap into Ponder. This most likely means they have a fetch land in hand, but it's definitely scary that they get a Brainstorm. Dig deeper for something like Swords to Plowshares. Hierarch's fine. Interesting. Just to allow us not to attack, and just to keep drawing cards. I guess we can draw into Scryb Ranger to give double protection with Mum or Swords to Plowshares. Hierarch. Surely if they have Swords to Plowshares, they would have done it last turn. So I think here we're happy again just to go pro blue. Just to keep them from having multiple threats or blockers. Questing Beast would be very good. And I think because Questing Beast is so good, I actually want to play out this Noble Hierarch. They hopefully don't have Supreme Verdict in the main deck. And this still allows us to put in Batterskull next turn. Yeah, this definitely looks like BANT Blade. Snapcaster Mage into Ponder is probably good for us. Brainstorm, okay. It'll cost 2, which means if they don't hit a land, they can't represent Swords to Plowshares, which means Pro Blue is just getting straight through these blockers, which is nice. And they'll have to start attacking with the true name. Okay, they have another land. And they're fetching straight away. Maybe they just have Swords to Plowshares and they want to hit the Mum right now. Definitely looks it. I mean, they've pondered a few times, they've brainstormed a few times, and they haven't hit swords yet, so surely... nothing. Interesting. Let's put this in. Could even have something like Brazen Burrower. I think we give the Mum Pro, we give the Batterskull Pro because it's the card we care about the least. And if they Swords the Germ, we're kind of up on a card, which is kind of nice. Pro Blue. Don't really want to go too wide here. I kind of want to keep this Hierarch for now. But maybe putting them down to 10 is just better. Maybe the Exalted just adds up enough. Ah, of course, the bounce is still an on-creature spell. Very good pickup. Alright, we get back Screws as well, which turns off their Uros and Snapcaster Mages, which is kind of nice. Ooh, Sylvan Library is a really nice pickup. That's a great sign for us. Ponder's fine. Swords on Mum. We can't do anything here, so that's going to be fine. What we can do is get the Screws big enough, so they have to start blocking the Batterskull. Interesting, they're attacking here. That's going to be fine. Alright, so here we get to float some green mana. Eat swords. I guess we can just go after creatures, to be fair. Palace Jailer. Noble Hierarch. We also have this mana. Mother of Runes. Swords. I think Swords just does it. Even if they have Force of Will. We attack for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. So luckily this is just lethal anyway. Because we get to attack for 4, which they block, and then 1, 2, 3, 8, 9. Ah, they can block. Interesting. Go to 1. I guess it turns off Force and it turns off Fetch lands. Play Library and pass. They blocked the 5/5, yeah, very true. Okay. So luckily we get there game 1. BANT is interesting. I probably want the Shifting Ceratops. Pretty good. Can't be countered, and also protection from True Name. Prelate is interesting. I don't mind Prelate in this matchup. Probably for 3. Because it does stop Oko, which is pretty annoying. The Planeswalkers are interesting as well. I think I like Elspeth to fight against the Okos, which most likely are in the deck. Collector Ouphe is interesting. It's kind of a two-sided sword. I think we can probably go down on Swords to Plowshares. Probably don't care about the Snapcaster Mages and Stoneforge Mystic, so most likely care about the Tournament Nemesis. Wasteland still seems really good in this deck. It's not so much just a basic heavy mana base. Knight's great, Knight of Awesome is great. I think it's Collector Ouphe. I don't believe they're playing snow-covered basics either, so I don't think they'll be playing Astrolabe. So maybe Ouphe is just okay taking it out. I think this is fine. Hexdrink is interesting, but I think you can get caught out with Swords to Plowshares there. I'm gonna see how this rolls, and then if there is a game 3, we can come back and have a look at it. This hand is interesting. I think it's fine. The Sylvan Library is really nice. Teeg probably isn't the biggest threat in this matchup for us, but the Questing Beast is really nice just to have as well, so I'm pretty happy to keep this, actually. Close chat. Mystic Sanctuary, interesting. Mum. Maybe I'm just happy with Mum here. Forcing it. Interesting, go down to 3 cards. Stoneforge is fine. I think Sylvan Library is just a little bit too good here. Hopefully we can dig to some sort of answer for this Stoneforge Mystic and Jitte, but... Hardcast, interesting. Getting in for attacks as well. Hey, Cal, welcome to the stream. So I think here I'm happy to just pay for it, whatever we draw into. Thalia is really nice because they can't source the Plowshares here. I guess they could untap and then Swords, but I think just Thalia and Wasteland here is pretty good, so let's just pay... Probably don't need the birds right now. Let's put this back and pay for the Windswept Heath. Interesting. Another Wasteland. I think we just put on top and put on top. Keep the Wasteland. Now we can go... What do I want to do here? I could go for Prelate for 1, which is pretty nice. But then if they untap and play an Oko, they get to turn Thalia into a 3/3. I guess that's actually pretty good for us. I don't believe I will, unfortunately. I have some plans, but hopefully it should go pretty well. I think Prelate for 1 here is pretty solid. Turns off Swords to Plowshares and also Brainstorm and Preordain. Don't want to attack yet. Another Stoneforge is fine. Put on top. Put on top. I think Karakas into Questing Beast here is just the best, and then attack with Questing Beast. I think an Exalted creature is what I want here. Interesting. Let's go for put on top, unless I want this. Yeah, let's go put on top. I guess it's kind of the same thing. It just gets the Verdant out of the deck. So let's put this on top, pay for the Verdant, play the Verdant, play Knight. I don't really want to trade the Questing Beast for the Germ, so I'm just going to pass here. And then I'll probably just block the creature with Jitte with Thalia and bounce it. This is fine. Knight of Autumn would be pretty good here as well. If we can fetch end of turn for Dryad Arbor and then get a fresh look at Sylvan Library. But opponent missing the land drops for a few turns is pretty rough for them. Kind of nice for us. This is pretty nice for us, because it means they're actually using their mana as well. So this isn't going to work out too well for my opponent. So they attack. We block with Thalia. We can deal first strike damage, but there's no real point. We might as well just return it. Hey, Jerry, welcome. Yeah, drop bears are tough. Drop bears are pretty well known around Australia. A lot of the travelers need to look out for drop bears. They can be a pretty big hindrance on the... not really what we want here. I guess we have the Dryad Arbor now, which is nice. We kind of want the Sylvan Library to... fetch stuff away. I don't think we need the Cradle. Cradle's kind of nice, because if we draw into Green Sun Zenith... we're definitely using the Knight, so we'll put on top, put on top. I guess we could get pretty lucky as well by Knighting into Horizon Canopy, but then we tap the Knight and we lose the Dryad Arbor run here. So let's go for... Thalia. You do need, yeah, Vegemite is a great play. Vegemite is definitely very needed. I think I also just want Gaddock Teeg here. And then play Wasteland and pass. Sadly, the Jitte is just making things a little bit complicated, but having 2 legendary creatures, or 3 that we can block, is pretty nice. So let's... I feel like Gaddock Teeg should be blocked, because if we draw into Green Sun Zenith, I want to use it, and Gaddock Teeg stops us from being able to use it, so... block with Teeg and then return Teeg. Alright. I'm going to sack the Savannah and get a Windswept Heath, and then sack this and go and get a Savannah. Come on, Green Suns. Oh, Shifting Ceratops is cool, but doesn't really do anything right now. Once Upon a Time. Put on top. I guess I can pay for this if I wish. Do we really need the Shifting Ceratops? I don't think we do right now. Alright. Let's play Cradle. Yeah, Verdict can be rough. So we'll definitely try to play around Cradle, Verdict as much as we can. At least we do have the upside of Gaddock Teeg and Thalia. Oh, I was supposed to I was supposed to fetch. Interesting. Interesting. I guess we keep the Prelate. Maybe we just go for Shifting Ceratops. Ceratops is the cooler play, so I think that's where we are right now. And now we're just passing back. I think we'll just get Horizon Canopy in our end step as well. Opponent again misses. Block with Gaddock. Return. This is magic. This is magic. Alright. Let's get rid of... Probably don't want to get rid of double white here. I might just get rid of this forest. Go and get Canopy. And draw into Green Sun Zenith. Nice. just as I planned it. Put on top, put on top. One, two, three, four, five. Green Suns for 3. I think just taking care of the Jitte here is fine instead of the Batterskull, because they can return the Batterskull. It is interesting because we're so close to just having lethal if we just attack. But I think, yeah, Jitte here is the big card that I'm kind of scared of. Yeah, so if we hit the Batterskull here, they most likely return it, tap out. They then have to block the Knight and Shifting Ceratops. And we get to attack for 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Which is pretty cool. I don't mind that. Let's go for Knight of Autumn and hit the Batterskull. Return's fine. We still have one in the pool. So let's go for Gaddock Teeg. And then we can also cast another Knight, which is pretty nice. Now we can attack with everything. This is still fine. They're going down to 1. Okay. Interesting. Let's pass back. And luckily, with Thalia, Prelate, and Gaddock Teeg, they probably don't have an out here. They definitely can't sweep the board, which is nice. So, unfortunately, our opponent just kind of stopped playing lands after 3, but I feel like the Prelate was a big part of that. They most likely had a bunch of cantrips in hand, so definitely nice to get the win there, because True Name and Equipment decks can be pretty rough for this deck, but I feel like we were just able to put a little more pressure on than our opponent did. Yeah, we basically had lethal either way, which is kind of nice. But I feel like if our opponent did something like, you know, turn 1 Noble Hierarch, turn 2 True Name, it would have been a lot better for our opponent than the start that they had, but that's Magic sometimes. You just gotta roll with it. Take the good with the bad. What program is this? This is Magic the Gathering Online. It's a very old program, but they've kept it around. So there is Magic Arena, which of course has Standard and a few other formats, which you probably know of. But this is the Holy Grail. This is where you play Legacy. This is where you play a lot of the old draft formats. You can play Modern here. You can play Pioneer. You can still play Standard or Draft. Yeah, very old platform, but a very cool platform. Especially to give people still play Legacy. Yeah, people do play Legacy still, which is cool. I do believe it is the best format around, 100%. Long live Legacy. Good to see some Legacy folk in the chat. All right, we've been paired. Let's see how this goes. Oh, Holy Driver. This is an interesting one. This is a hand that I'm not too keen to keep. Kind of like how we discussed before. It's just got too many of the silver bullets that I kind of just want to have in the deck as Green Sun Zenith targets. Not in my opening hand, especially on the draw as well. I'm pretty keen to mulligan this and try to get a Noble Hierarch hand. This is actually pretty good. I'm pretty happy to keep this. And probably bottom the Jitte because we already have the Stoneforge. Cloudpost. Okay. Well, that's a great Wasteland target. Another once. Interesting. Ivugan. Interesting. So let's draw a card and then see if we want to once again. Wasteland. Interesting. I guess we can try to keep our opponent off Thought-Knots here, which is pretty good. I think we just want to Wasteland here. The reason I might not want to Wasteland is that if we hit another Cloudpost or Ancient Tomb, it's probably a lot better. Ivugan in this build is most likely only going to give them a cheaper Thought-Knots here. Otherwise, it's pretty dead until the late game. So I think I don't want to, quotes, waste a Wasteland here, because I don't think, other than Thought-Knots here, I does much right here. And if they have another one, we obviously get pretty hit. So let's just go for probably Forest. Probably should have cast the Once Upon a Time first to see if we could hit a fetch land, but cast this. Happy to get a fetch land if we get one. Okay. Well, Collector Ouphe is actually really good. Yeah, let's go for Collector Ouphe here. And then we can just Once Upon a Time later on. So worst case here is Soul Land. Interesting. Okay. They could even be on some sort of post build, which would be pretty interesting. Savannah. Okay, Savannah's nice. Yeah, so I think Collector Ouphe is nice, but we're not really scared of anything like Candelabra with this board. We're not scared of Walking Ballista. So I think getting the Knight on the board is a lot better than having it in hand for something like a next turn Ugin. Oh, sorry, next turn Thought-Knots here. So let's just go for Knight here. It's definitely probably the best card in the matchup. It's both a clock and also really good disruption. White mana, interesting. Sorcerer's Spyglass. Probably naming Wasteland. Let's let's not beat around the bush. So if they name Wasteland, next turn we just get to go Stoneforge and Collector Ouphe. That means Stoneforge kind of has to go for Batterskull, but I don't really mind that. Yeah, Karakas could just be a one-off. I don't think this is going to be like a white Eldrazi deck with like a Eldrazi Displacer. I think the Karakas is just a one-off. I mean, Knight of Autumn here would be pretty good, but it's only a one-off in the deck, so we can't always draw it. I think I just want to once here. What am I wanting for? I'm wanting for Knight of Autumn, which we could cast. Or we go for Stoneforge Mystic and just go for like Jitte Beatdown, which doesn't seem too bad. If they are on Golos, it's not too bad because we do have Karakas, but it can of course be pretty hectic with its ETB effect. I think the plan is most likely just to get Knight as big as possible and as early as possible. So I think we're just going to go for Savannah into Stoneforge and then hold up Once Upon a Time. Probably just want to get Batterskull here because it's going to be the faster clock and it's a little bit less mana intensive. End of turn, we can cast Once Upon a Time, and we can also cycle the forest for a Windswept Heath and get another forest. If they play a Thought-Knot, I don't think I want a once in response. They most likely just take the Batterskull here. Hey, Lurtzer, thanks for the follow. Let me know where you're from. If you play Legacy, what do you play in Legacy? Yeah, Knight's been pretty nice. Even if there's a one-off to have in the deck, it's been, you know, performing pretty well. They take the Collector Ouphe, interesting. Oh, okay, that's why. Ugh. Hey, Logoif. Hope you know how to Tamagoif. Thanks for the follow. Let me know where you're from. If you play Legacy, what do you play in Legacy? I guess we want to get the forest out of the deck. Maybe I want to hold up Swords to Plowshares. I guess we can't find it anyway. Scryb Ranger, Verdant. Scryb's pretty nice because then we can attack and also use everything else. And I'm happy for the fetches to go to the bottom, let's be honest. Green Suns. Once. I guess once is pretty much free. Knight of the Reliquary. Gaddock Teeg is interesting, but they most likely have something like a Walking Blister, so I think I just want the extra Knight here. So we can play a land. Let's go for land into... Tap this for Cradle. Tap this for Scryb Ranger. And then one floating... Yeah, then we get to put in Knight. And then also untap this, returning a Savannah. And then we get to attack. And now we get to hold up Batterskull as well, because we can untap the Dryad Arbor for mana. Maybe Teeg was even the best play there, because I guess, you know, I'm kind of scared of Walking Ballista, but I'm really scared of all his dust. Yeah, sadly Teeg is non-creature spells with 4 CMC or greater, or X in their converted mana cost. But yeah, it is only a non-creature. But yeah, good pickup. You know, it's definitely worth at least pointing it out that Gaddock Teeg sadly doesn't stop Walking Ballista. This Spyglass is doing a lot of work. I feel like my opponent is just thinking of how much mana they can create here with Candelabra. 1, 2, 3, 4. Vesuva comes in tapped, but they get to untap it with Candelabra if they need. Probably looking to untap these two. Ugin, interesting. Alright. I wonder if that is dead though. What can they do? Destroy something. Probably a knight. They have to destroy a knight or else they're dead. Yeah, they're destroying this. Can't really do anything. I guess we can... float a mana, untap, return Dryad Arbor, get Horizon Canopy as just an extra draw, and then we can still put Stoneforge Mystic in, but also have an extra draw step in our turn, which is kind of nice. Yeah, so we can float a white, untap, return, sack Dryad Arbor, unless we need it. Unless we need the extra 1 from Dryad Arbor next turn. They're dead either way, because they have to block Knight, and then they can't block 1, 2, and then the extra from Batterskull, so it's all good. But we might as well do this. Untap, return Savannah. So the reason for doing this instead of just doing the Dryad Arbor is that Horizon Canopy gives us an extra card, but we don't actually need it, so it's going to be all good. Yeah, so they're on 6, they block the Knight, and then they take 6 from Scryb Ranger, Stoneforge Mystic, and Batterskull. Ah, they can play a Walking Ballista for 1. Well, I guess that does change things. Now we kind of need Questing Beast. Well, the Arbor doesn't change anything because they can still... Oh, I guess Swords is actually pretty good. I'm going to draw a card first. Jitte. So... yeah, it kills the flyer. So even if we had Dryad Arbor, they could block the Dryad Arbor and then deal with the Scryb Ranger anyway. I think here we deal with the Thought Knot. I guess the Thought Knot has to block the Walking Ballista anyway. Sorry, has to block the Knight anyway. So let's go with kill the Walking Ballista. It gains them the less life as well, which is nice. Hey, Exardian, welcome. Okay, so they take care of the Scryb Ranger. That's going to be fine. I don't really want to do anything there. Actually, yeah, I wanted to create mana. Rough. I should have tapped Cradle because I wanted the extra mana for Jitte. Haha. Alright. Well then. Let's go attack them. Attack them. Attack Ugin. Rough. Yeah, should have floated. Should have floated. I'm just going to play this anyway. Alright. And just hope that these Ancient Tombs being turned off by their life total is good enough, because now they only really have like 4 mana to play with. Maybe an extra 1. Yeah, so luckily we get out of it. Yeah. Boarding is interesting. I think Prelate is pretty good. I'm happy to bring in Prelate. We can definitely take out the 3 mums. I think we might just want Planeswalkers. They were pretty good last time. Elspeth is pretty sweet, especially with the flying. Nissa, I think, is better than Gideon. Gideon does make Walking Ballista a little bit worse. Elspeth is nice because then we can fly. But Nissa might be more relevant because we get things back from the graveyard. Like Night of Autumn, if it gets destroyed and we get to get it back. That's kind of cool. I might even drop 1 Thalia on the draw and just bring in the extra Planeswalker. Nissa can rebuy Wastelands, yeah. I think it's going to be a case of Nissa rebuying Night of Autumn, because I'm going to assume they're going to go after Wasteland pretty hard with Pith Needle effects like Sorcerous Spyglass. I mean, the untap isn't relevant either, just to give a big creature. It means that Nissa off the top in the late game could be, you know, the difference between life and death, which is kind of nice. But yeah, been pretty happy so far with the matches. Going down to OmniTell, which is pretty rough, but definitely had a bit of ones. Yeah, the Karakas is great against Marit Lage. It's also nice for us to keep things like Thalia or Gaddock Teeg protected if our opponent tries to remove them. It's also good against opposite legendary creatures as well, which is nice. But yeah, Karakas is really nice. Oh, his opponent's Karakas. Yeah, you can also do some shenanigans like get back Golos if you wish. You can also get back Ulamog if you play Ulamog. You play some amount of legendary creatures. But yeah, it's mainly as an out against, you know, even something like Grizzlebrand or Emrakul. Although Emrakul's a little bit tougher. Unless they put it in off Show and Tell, you're probably not dealing with it just with Karakas. Unfortunately. I think it's a case of, because you're playing Expedition map, it's, you know, it's not too big of a deck building constraint to just play it. I'm going to mulligan this hand. I don't want to rely on just these Once Upon a Times to draw land. And I don't really want both Planeswalkers in my opening hand, so I think this is a pretty easy mull. I think this matchup is... I think it's pretty play dependent. I think being on the play is pretty good, especially when Thought-Knot Seer is in consideration. And also things like Wasteland is obviously really good, so I do feel like this deck can handle. Yeah, can definitely handle Eldrazi pretty well. Knight of Autumn is just like the pinnacle of what sort of card you want in this matchup. It's really good at hitting their mana base, but also just a really nice threat as well. Yeah. And things like Chalice aren't just, you know, the doom and gloom of the deck, which is nice. So if our opponent does play a turn 1 Chalice, it's not going to be the end of the world, which is kind of nice. They have mulliganed to 5 cards. Okay. Which obviously isn't something that I want to see, but... always a nice little advantage for you to have. But yeah, I think, you know, Eldrazi is obviously a great deck, and it can just get those... It actually... Speaking of which, Eldrazi Stompy won the Legacy Challenge on Sunday. So it's definitely not a deck that doesn't put up results as well. It hasn't put up results for a long time, but it's good to see it back. I think it's a great deck to play when the meta kind of... After something gets banned, the meta is a little bit shifted, so it's pretty nice. I think the start that my opponent needs with 5 cards is like Ancient Tomb Chalice for 1, and then like Ancient Tomb or Eldrazi Temple into Thought-Knot Seer. Okay, well, Spyglass is pretty great as well. Even though they can see Fetch Lands here and Night, they probably just name Wasteland because they're down to 3 cards. This Ancient Tomb is one of their only soul lands, so they don't want to take the risk here. Hey, Pabst11, thanks for the follow. Let me know where you're from. If you play Legacy, what do you play in Legacy? Savannah. I'm just going to go with a fetch land here. And pass. The big issue is that if our opponent does Thought-Knot Seer away this Knight of Autumn, we don't really have an answer to Spyglass. Candle, okay. Luckily just a pass back. I'm going to get out the last Savannah. Don't really want to see it. Wasteland, okay. I think land pass is fine. From South Boston. Bug Control, very cool. Bug is definitely up there with one of my favorite color combinations. I think BANT's pretty cool, but yeah, I definitely have a big piece of love for Bug. Alright. I guess we should have played Knight of the Reliquary there. The one reason that I wanted to play Knight of Autumn was just to play around Thought-Knot-Seer. That's the big reason. But we could have gone Knight that turn and then untapped, played a land, played Knight, and then double Wastelanded them. But I kind of want to get this Knight onto play to deal with the Sorcerer's Spyglass. Hey, yeah, Esper sounds like a pretty perfect deck for you. There's a lot of play with that deck, which is cool. Grim Monolith, okay. Oof. Haha. Yep. Just that turn too slow. Elspeth. Elspeth doesn't really do a whole lot here. Yeah, this is going to be a tough one. Even though our opponent went to 5, they obviously had a pretty good hand. Even just keeping Wasteland offline for, you know, the turn that they really needed it is pretty rough. See if Ugin ticks down here or not. It's going to tick down. Interesting. Can we beat an Ugin? I think Questing Beast is the big card that we need. Okay, that's a start. I'm getting a Batterskull because it might tempt my opponent to tick down again. Spyglass is pretty good because it answers the Elspeth. Okay, so if they attack here, okay, so we do have an out, and we have a pretty good out. It's once upon a time for either an exalted creature or I guess we actually need the extra card as well. I guess it has to be Questing Beast for one. It's not Questing Beast. Scryb Ranger is interesting. I think we just want the extra land just in case we don't draw it, because we want to play this Batterskull. Yeah, Ugin 0, but we can't really do anything else. So the Thalia is definitely not worth it because it's a tick up. The Elspeth does nothing. The best case is trying to buy a turn, so maybe we can even draw a Green Suns for Questing Beast if they attack with Thought Knot. The Elspeth does nothing because Sorcerer's Spyglass we can't deal with. Alright, Questing Beast or bust. It's happened before. Prelate. I guess we can go for 4. Maybe we actually want to go for something bigger. Two, 3, 4. I'm just gonna go for 7. It's gonna be fine. I guess we only get one more turn because of this Thought Knot. Ah. Might as well play Elspeth. Yeah, so now we need them to use this Ancient Tomb on something that isn't a creature. Oh. Okay. Okay, we do have the out. We do have the out. Come on. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's concession, right? Yeah, that's concession. So close. 1 card. No, not coming. I'm just going to run this back. There's nothing that we really want to change here. Shifting Ceratops is interesting because it has haste. Maybe Ceratops is a little bit better than Nissa. Yeah, I'm going to change that up. I kind of like the ability to have haste because it means the Planeswalkers aren't too much of an issue. We've seen both Ugins now, so hopefully we can get a Wasteland start without our opponent having Sorcerer's Spyglass. That's definitely tip number 1. The new MTG Goldfish This Week in Legacy is also out, which has a nice little link to the greensunzenith.com, which is very cool. I was wondering where my traffic was coming from for the history page, and it's probably this because it does link the page, which is always nice. Your chat is so nice, you'd be proud. Hey, you are welcome. I hope you really enjoy that list. It's a pretty sweet deck. Casual Ponderings mentioned you in the last podcast. Very cool. Very cool. To be fair, I am promoting the This Week in Legacy, which is a brilliant piece of content. There's actually a guy from Melbourne who used to write it, Sean Brown, who KLAN42 is friends with, knows, probably has had some pretty good matches against. Very big fan of Rug. Rug Delver. Pretty good at Rug Delver. Pretty good, to say the least. But Beloyd, that's very cool to know. I'll have to I'll have to check it out. I think I did. Was that the one where they're talking about Phil from Thraben as well? And about how his article with the State of Legacy? Yeah. Which is fair enough. It's pretty tough as well because, of course, the Green Sun Zenith is pretty new, so I definitely have a lot of content to still put out. So I am putting out a lot of content. But Phil, of course, has had the Thraben University for a while now, so there definitely is, you know, a little bit of a... I'm sure once I get to his stage, I'll be slowing down as well. Hopefully not, but we'll see what happens. This hand, sadly, is just a little bit too slow. A turn 2 Scavenging Ooze and then a turn 4 Planeswalker really isn't where I want to be. I want to, you know, I want to have a turn 1 Noble Hierarch, a turn 2 Knight. So I'm going to mulligan this. And this is pretty rough, but the Collector Ouphe might help in slowing them down. The issue is that it's a 1-lander, and I really need to rely on the Collector Ouphe, or the Once Upon a Time finding me a land. I'm going to keep this. I think it has enough elements to slow them down. The Screws is a little bit lackluster. I'm going to bottom that and then keep these pieces. At least we get to draw another card in our turn. And then, Once Upon a Time for another land, so just dig a little bit deeper. Glimmer Post, okay. Manifold Key, okay. Well, here's to finding a land. Thalia, okay. Let's once. Whoa, haha, just. And I think here I'm probably more happy to play... Thalia is actually pretty strong. Is there any reason why I want to cast Collector Ouphe here over Thalia? And I don't think there is. I guess unless they have Soul Land into Grim Monolith, they could then Grim Monolith for 3, untap for 1, and then float and then cast Thought-Knot Seer. So I think because of that, I'm going to go with Collector Ouphe. Because Soul Land, Grim Monolith, yeah, is 3 mana to pay for Grim, and then they can key for 5 mana. It also turns off Walking Blister, which is kind of nice. And there's Grim. Okay, so they had Grim. Nice. So that's the reason to play Collector Ouphe. That's pretty sweet. Luckily. They do now have a bunch of mana though, so that's kind of scary. There's Tomb. Yikes. Bridge. Interesting. They still have 4 cards. Okay, so we could draw a card and just Questing Beast here. A land? We don't draw a land. Okay. Golos. Okay. Sadly, I think I just have to hit this with swords. Or else we're not attacking. Probably just getting Cloud Post here. Because then it taps for 4. I think because our next turn is hopefully Questing Beast as well, we just want to swords this turn to get it out of the way. However, Beast can't attack under the bridge, so... Not too bad. It's a lot better for us because we have the Swords Plowshares, but it's definitely not, you know, a great position here. Knight would be kind of nice. Okay. Nice. That's a start. Because at least once we start going after their mana with Wasteland, they then have to start holding more cards in hand, and Snow Ensnaring Bridge gets a little bit worse. So now we really have to fade something big. Something like Ugin, some sort of removal for Knight. Even a Sorcerer's Spyglass would be pretty huge for them. I think Scryb Ranger is just our best draw because then it allows us to have 2 Knight activations. Wasteland itself wouldn't be too bad either. Eight mana. Oof. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Which is the gold card land they have. This is Cascading Cataracts, which works really well with the Golos because they can actually activate its ability. Oh, this is just a pass? That's a massive gain for us. Plains. I think we still definitely cast Beast. And then just Wasteland them. There's nothing they can really do in our turn anyway, like Crop Rotation, so I'm happy just to hit it here. And then swing in with these creatures. I want to take them off their soul lands first. Even though Ancient Tomb is working well for us because it adds to our clock, I just want to try to keep them off as much mana as possible. And if they had nothing last turn with an extra 2 mana, they most likely don't have too much this turn either with 2 less mana. Cloud Post. Okay, well there's a great target now for Wasteland. I mean, if we draw Knight of Autumn, we can actually just attack in for lethal, which is pretty cool. So definitely in a pretty good position. Prelate. Okay, Prelate's pretty nice. But what do I name? One, two, three, 4, 5, 6. I think the name is 6. So 6 names are the Colorless Ugin, 7 names Auror's Dust, and 8 names Ugin. But if my plan is to Wasteland most of these turns, then next turn I'm probably just scared of a 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, a 7 drop because of Thalia. So if we take care of Cloudpost here, and they have another Soul Land next turn, they could go 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then cast All Is Dust through Thalia. So I think the play is to play Prelate on 7. Prelate's pretty good because a lot of their big cards are either 6, 7, or 8. It's not the greatest, but it can be pretty good. So I think we're just going to go for 7. Because it does stop All Is Dust, which is definitely a card. We then want to attack with these two. And then Wasteland the Cloudpost. Hey, HD Boot, thanks for the sub with Twitch Prime. A huge thank you. That is very cool. Let me know how your week's going. How things are doing. Sadly, we're currently 3-1, and looking to hopefully finish this off in at least one more turn. The cool thing this time is that if they don't drop 2 cards here, we get to attack for 6 at least, which turns off the Ancient Tomb. So it's one less card we have to worry about, which is kind of nice. Yeah, the issue is that with Prelate, they do have a few answers to it, and even if we do, you know, name 8 and they have Ugin in hand, they can play something like Walking Blister and deal with it, or the 6-mana Ugin, which actually doesn't deal with it because it has to be... Oh, maybe it's 1 or more colors. They do have a few different ways to do it, so sadly, Prelate isn't a lock per se, but it definitely helps turn off cards they could have, which is nice. Yeah, I'm stuck at home as well. Got 2 weeks to work from home, which is kind of nice. The whole company as well, which is pretty big. Ha. Yeah, 3 is pretty good against the Snowco decks, because they can't have too much, which is really nice. I definitely feel the Collector Ouphe was pretty huge, because having the Manifold Key and Grim just means they have a bunch of mana each turn. Well, an extra 5. They also have to play a card here, of course, or else the Questing Beast gets in as well. Okay, Buried Ruin. Interesting. Oh, here we go. 5 mana. What's this? Ugh. Khan. Interesting. What can Khan get? I guess they're down to 2 cards in hand. Make Grim a creature. Interesting. Yeah, so we can still Swords the Grim and then attack the Khan. And then also Wasteland them. So let's just quickly work this out. Swords the Grim, and then they still have 2 cards in hand, so we get to attack for 6 at Khan. Because we can only attack for 6. So I think we have to Swords the Grim, and then attack Khan for 6. And then also Wasteland them. Probably still hitting the Ancient Tomb. What does Buried Ruin do? No, yeah. Alright. Another Tomb. Grim. Okay. Down to 1 card. Okay, rough. Stoneforge. I guess Stoneforge is kind of nice because we can attack with it. Let's go for Jitte. And can't really attack here. I guess we have to... We kind of have to Wasteland them. Just to keep them off as many cards as possible. And then try to get there with... Ooh, Cloud Post is pretty scary though. And we have no Wastelands yet left. Okay, this is sweet. Let's fetch Savannah. Wait. Cradle. Play Jitte. Really racing against time here. Oh, we can't because of Collector Ouphe. Rough. Ha, that was mistimed. Yeah, all Wastelands are in the bin, unfortunately. This looks like Ugin. Rough. Just a little bit too late. Classic. Rough. We have no outs. We have no outs. Rough. Rough. The 4-1 dream crushed. The 4-1 crushed. Oh, it's a horrible feeling. Maybe I was supposed to keep the last Wasteland for the Cloud Post, but... Rough. Still a really cool match. Can't be unhappy with that. Let's open that chest. Let's open all of these. It's just one of those times. This is what we needed. This is what we needed in the sideboard. Ugin there, pretty sweet. Rough. Yeah, it's a tough one. I thought going after their mana was pretty good. We had to just keep the pressure on because, you know, maybe that 2 life, maybe that 2 mana that they had was good. Yeah, well, if I'm not aggressive with Wastelands, then the Ensnaring Bridge just gets better, because then they get to cast everything that they drew into, so... Blood Crypt is kind of nice. I was pretty happy with how I Wastelanded, except for the last one. Maybe that could have been saved. Give me a full set, come on. Kai's Wrath Spine. Here we go. Heliode, very cool. That's pretty sweet. Not sure if it's worth anything, though. Probably should have sold these, but... Ooh, Sprouting Hydra. Hey, Etorek, thanks for the follow. Let me know where you're from. If you play Legacy, what you play in Legacy. Declaration in Stone, alright. Yeah, that's fair enough. I think that's pretty smart from my opponent as well, so congrats to them. Hopefully they are on the way to a 5-0 or a 4-1. You never really know. The deck was sweet. The deck was really cool. I haven't played Green-White in a while. I've been a massive fan of the Black Splash because of Abrupt Decay and Plague Engineer. But this was actually quite nice to play. Achilles obviously has done really well with this deck. In February, he had 3 5-0s in a league, and he won 2 prelims, which is pretty good. So that's pretty cool. Can we get 50k channel points for leagues? I'm not sure what that means. I wish I knew what that means. Rough. That was so close. That was so close. Especially for the hand we had. You know, we definitely played it pretty well. Just couldn't get there, though. Maybe attacking the Khan wasn't correct. Maybe I wasn't too scared of what they could get, but... You know, putting them down to 1 was pretty good. I'm not sure what channel points are. I wish I knew what channel points were. Would I change anything in the deck? I think I would have one more sideboard option for removal. Something like Council's Judgment. It could be Qasali Pride Mage. It could be like Return to Nature is pretty good because it's quite diverse in what you can bring it in. I feel like, yeah, we just don't... I felt like I wanted another Knight of Autumn effect in this deck. And Qasali Pride Mage is pretty good, of course. It also gives Exalted, which is nice. Oh, that's very cool. Okay. I've never seen those points in my life. So, yeah. I'm going to say that for 50k points, we can... You can definitely pick a deck. Yeah, I had no idea that points were something. How can I see the points? That's something that I should know, and I apologize for that. But yeah, good games. Good games overall. The deck was fine. I really liked it. I think, yeah, just the extra removal piece would be really nice. But maybe that's just for the matches that we played against today. But that is me. A huge thank you to everyone who came in and followed. I am very close to that 1,000 followers, which is very cool. Ooh. 21 people off. Very cool. I can add it to rewards. Interesting. Grid GM, thank you very much for passing this on. I'm going to give this a read now. I'm also going to send you guys over to Martin User because raiding is pretty sweet, and I know that Martin is playing Legacy. He's not playing Legacy. He's playing something else right now. I don't believe there's anyone playing Legacy on right now. So I'm going to start the raid. A huge thank you. If you guys want to find me, all my videos go on YouTube. You can find me here at YouTube/C/Dukes on Twitch. You can also find me on Twitter, of course, at Twitter/Dukes on Twitch. And you can also find all my content at thegreensunzenith.com. A huge thank you again. Enjoy your weeks. Stay healthy. I know the virus is around, so stay healthy. Be well to you and your families, your friends. I will be back. I'm actually going to do a double stream this weekend, so I'll be on Saturday morning and Sunday morning. Australian time, so 10 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, AEST. I'll hopefully see you guys there. That is it. Thank you very much. Be right back. Let's get this raid going. Cheers.